All right, we'll just skip all that. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better on this second recording. But anyway, the most important message that I can give to you if you're watching this is everyone's going to get the same percentage. So everyone gets the same amount back. It doesn't matter if you are, if you're holding DOT, if you're holding BGX, if you're holding Bitcoin. It just depends on how you want to receive that money. That's the only thing. And so if you want to receive that money in kind, so if you want to receive that money as Bitcoin or as one of the other tokens that FTX holds, then you're solid gold. You're just going to have to transfer it over to FTX. Now, there's some other things that go along with transferring it over to FTX. We'll talk about that later. But the important thing is everyone gets the same percentage. It just depends on what you have. What do you hold? If you hold VGX, obviously, unless someone else comes along and purchases that, then you're going to get the same percentage as everyone else in cash. The difference is you can elect to have that on FTX, or you can elect to have it on. Okay, good. Or you can elect to have it as a check. Right, but they're going to have you probably move it over as USD if you're not going to take it as a check. The problem with that is that you're going to be 1099. You're going to get a 1099 form. You're going to that's going to go on your taxes. You're going to have to file that, and so we're looking into talking to somebody that does taxes, specifically crypto taxes, to see if we can find out more about that. But depending on how that works out for you, if it's major gains, then you're going to have to pay some taxes on it, depending on when you got into the crypto market versus the July 5th snapshot. But like I said, you could also take USD on their platform, or if they have something that you hold, then you can take it in kind. If you take it in kind, then that's not taxable. It's just moving that token over, and you won't have a taxable event. So that was an important thing that came out of the UCC. Now, the timing I thought was important. If everything goes as planned, then there will be a February distribution. So that means that most of the creditors, that's all of us, we will get a distribution sometime early to mid-February. And I thought that was something that was important because, first of all, that means I was right. AZ Crypto was wrong. He said January. I knew it was going to be later, but that's not important. The important thing is that we have some clarity on when we're going to get our hands on those funds. So that I thought was definitely something that I needed to hear from this group. One thing that I thought was super interesting and I wanted to share is that any asset can be purchased. I thought that the fiduciary out meant that they could purchase, that someone could come in and swoop in and purchase everything out from FTX, but it had to be the whole boat. That's not true. If someone comes in and offers a better price, say for VGX, and they have a plan for VGX, then that could give people an opportunity to give, excuse me, I was reading something, but that could give people the opportunity to get a little bit more and move that money over to, say, another platform if it's bought. Now, is that going to happen? There's an outside chance. I wouldn't say there's a good chance that could happen, but there's an outside chance. Lucy saying, I did ask the UCC. Let's put that on the screen. I did ask the UCC about the 72%, and they said if your coin went up in value more than 7, they will take the profit and share it all over this. Yeah, that's the one thing that is true. That's the one way you're going to get hosed, is if your token in particular has gone way up and they make a profit off of it. That doesn't get paid just to those token holders. That goes to the entire boat and gets spread over everybody. So yeah, that's a great point. That was something that I really thought was a negative from this. I thought that the estate benefits from a crypto pump. So in my eyes, what I'm hoping is that the entire market pumps, right? Bitcoin goes on a pump, everything else follows, and then we all benefit, right? It just depends on what you held. If you held something with a tiny market cap and it goes bananas for some reason, then yeah, you're basically donating those profits to the greater good, and that stinks. That's the one thing that I thought was a negative about all of this. So thank you for bringing that up, because I probably would have forgot that. But um, yes, if the whole market goes up, if prices go up, and if we hit certain benchmarks with FTX, I'm not exactly sure what those benchmarks are, but it's tied to the length of time that these Voyager customers stay on, how many stay on, how many trades, how much money. I'm sure there's a lot of stipulations to it, but that money could come back to us on the back end if we meet those certain stipulations. So yeah, there's a chance that we could come out of this way better than that 72% that we've been talking about this whole time. So that's the hope, right? That's the hope, is that the market pumps, we make profits off of that. Maybe somebody comes in and buys VGX or some of the other tokens for a better price. Maybe there's some recovery from 3AC here and there. I don't know what they're going to get back, but hopefully they'll get something back. Make sure that you opt in to that if you're interested in getting some of that. I don't know why you wouldn't, if you're going to take the deal, but I think that there's a chance that we could get quite a bit back, and maybe even quite a bit more than the 72%. So fingers crossed that that turns out, in our favor. The one thing I will tell you I know about the FTX turnover is, if you stay on FTX for 30 days and make at least one trade, then you'll get an additional $50, and I know that that also helps everybody in the end. Yet Lucy saying that UCC said more customers are voting yes, and from what I understood, a no vote wouldn't really affect, even if a huge percentage of people voted no, it still wouldn't affect. There was enough people who were voting yes that they were almost ready to call it for the yeses. Um, yeah, the way a lot of people feel. First, they a lot of it seems like an overwhelming majority are saying yes to FTX, and then a lot of people are leaving ASAP once the funds hit. So that's a good point. Especially there was some news this week, and I think to me the most troubling was the fact that Alameda is sort of propped up by FTT tokens in their treasury. A lot of people made a bigger deal about their treasury than I think needed to be made. The judge and the FCC, they made it clear that FTX was not only the best offer, but the ones that were the best able to see this thing all the way through at the current state. So that I thought was a good sign. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are nervous now because of this VGX bankruptcy, Celsius, because of the market downturn, crypto winter. But the one thing I will say about that is that we've all now earned our winter coats. We've all now, built up that thicker skin against a crypto winter. We're all better. Um, we're all better, equipped to handle these downturns in the market and those stomach churning, that stomach churning volatility that exists in crypto. So, as hard as we take all of this, and as hard as this has been, um, we'll all be a lot tougher at the end of this, and I think we'll all be a lot savvier traders once this plays out. Let's see. Lucy says the issue, and funny at the same time, Voyager operating illegal and no one can purchase Voyager's license. That is interesting. I'm going to have to go back and look at that because I missed that part. But yeah, that I really thought once this all went under, I thought somebody would be able to buy Voyager and use it as sort of a turnkey business, and I was disappointed that that didn't happen. And so, yeah, that would make more sense that there was some reason why they couldn't do it. Great point. Great point. I can handle the downturn. I can't handle these degens loaning my coins out to other degens. Beautifully stated. I could not have put that better myself. That was my biggest disappointment is that, all along we've heard that crypto is, highly collateralized. The loans that they make in DeFi are highly collateralized. And then you just turn around and you see Voyager and Celsius acting like TradFi companies, and making TradFi mistakes in a super volatile market with sketchy actors. And maybe 3AC wasn't considered as sketchy before as they are now, but I really felt like we were kind of snowed by that whole narrative that crypto works on highly collateralized loans and you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. I think maybe in my mind I just associated those two together, and I thought that they wouldn't be making those mistakes with my crypto, but I was definitely wrong. um let's see, something that I thought was interesting, or a couple of things that I thought were interesting. Liquidation would have been a bad thing, so we definitely want the deal to go through in some form or fashion, whether FTX buys the full boat or somebody else comes in and swoops in and buys some of the other tokens or some of the other pieces for a better price. um then but that, as far as that's concerned, um, yeah, I thought Voyager was safe too. I was super disappointed when they went down. But as far as that is concerned, the FTX deal is definitely better than liquidation. That liquidation would be a horrible thing. Yeah, that was a gut punch for me. I had I most my crypto on Voyager because I thought they were safe. Same here. Same here. Same, I know, same thing with AZ crypto. And also they were given the best returns. I mean, the plans that they had for the future. I don't want to turn this into sort of like a funeral for Voyager. But there were NFTs, there was plans for stocks, there were all these things that were coming down the pipeline. And I think that's the other thing that made it such a disappointment for me, is that I bought VGX with the hope that those things were going to come to fruition, and we were going to see that market cap, quadruple, 10x, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, that's just sort of what happened. Um, Nothing we can do about it now except learn our lesson, and if we see red flags in the future, make sure we at least get to cash as quick as we can, if not get our all of our cash off the platform. Okay, could you explain the voting process? I want to vote yes, but have waited to make sure I don't mess it up. So there's a couple of different things that I saw there. You're going to vote, and you have the option to vote yes or no, but you also have the option to opt in to a few other things. And the one that I thought was the most important was, if they're able to collect from 3AC or their other debtors, then that was something that I felt like was a no-brainer, but they still had that as an opt-in kind of a thing. And I'll have to do some more research to understand why that's an opt-in. But to me, it was kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, if they're going to retrieve some of those funds for us, and we can if I can get $5 back from 3AC, I'll take it. But to me, I'm going to have to look a little bit more into some of those opt-in options. But yeah, to me, I've already made up my mind. This isn't advice on how anybody else should vote, but for me, I'm going to vote yes. Let's see. I'm still confused about, are we using FTX or FTX US American citizens? As far as I know, it's FTX's US platform, but here in Florida, we just log into FTX. There's nothing different as far as downloading the phone app. I haven't really used the platform online, but I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay with them. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on their platform. We've got vote yes, then uncheck box 4, then check box 5. That's pretty straightforward. W saying I'll opt into that for sure. Yeah, you do your own research, but to me that seems like a no-brainer. If they can retrieve more funds and they're going to cut me in on it, I'm down for that. If other people miss out on that, then that's their problem. Another thing, make sure that it seems that everybody here knows that their emails are in, but if you know anybody else, just make sure that their email, they know their emails are in, that they check their junk box or whatever, their clutter. And then they also, if they don't find anything, that they give Stretto a call immediately, because we want them to be able to vote. We want them to be able to get their opportunity to opt in. I'm looking here to see if I have anything else in the notes, and I don't think so. But remember, there's a February distribution. That's the important thing. Everyone gets the same percentage no matter what you're holding. And so whatever you've got as far as crypto, you're getting the percentage that everyone gets back. And it's a pretty strong chance that we may even get back 75, 80%, or even more of that now, depending on, like we said, what the market does, how many people migrate to FTX and stay there. So there's a lot of factors that could play in, and then what they can retrieve from other companies that owe them money. So there's still an outside chance that we could get a lot more back than we thought, and so that's a good thing. So after this is done, I will use FTX to trade and purchase. Just won't store it on there. Yeah, that's it. I think that's the most important thing that we've all learned out of this is aggressively take profits, and then maybe see, if you don't plan on adding to your bank there, and continuing to trade with what you've made, then send that to your bank, your proper bank, and have that cash available, or at least have it in USD on their platform. That way you are insured through whatever bank they're using. Let's see, I really think the UCC was overestimating on the February distribution, so they can come back and say we get it December or January. That would be huge, and that will also prove AZ Crypto right. So I think that maybe he'll come on the show and he'll rub it in my face a little bit. So that would be huge for me, and I think that would be, if it comes in before the holidays, then I think people would really appreciate that kind of a surprise. That would be a nice little surprise from the UCC and Stretto and everybody else involved. The one thing that I wanted to repeat too is that any asset can still be purchased by another company. So anybody else, including Crosstower. Now, I thought Crosstower was coming in to try and make a better bid on everything, but that's not the case. Crosstower and any other company can come in and bid on any token and see if they can make a better offer than FTX. FTX obviously will have a chance to match that offer or do better. But that, I thought, was an exciting message, because that also gives us a chance to get a little bit more cash back. Yes, good thing. The court hearing will be 12/8, and you have until 11/28. You have until November 28th, really the 29th, but make sure you get it done by the 28th. Really, I would say probably get it done before Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving holiday, for those of you that aren't in the US and don't celebrate. But if you can get it done before Thanksgiving, make sure you have your vote in and everything set. You'll be ready to go, and that court hearing will be on the 8th, and then we'll know everything there. All right, so good question. How does FTX benefit from all this? Excuse me. First of all, they've cut the legs out of some competition, right? They've gotten rid of one of the best platforms that was available. So that was one thing. Then they're migrating all these customers over potentially. So you make this purchase and you get all these great customers. I mean, think about how strong this community was with the VGX heroes and everything else that was going on with this group. And how much we were trading on the Voyager platform. That right there, is just enough to make his mouth water. But then on top of that, if everybody stays for that long, they trade and they like the platform, or at least they enjoy the idea that they can trade again. He's got money moving on his platform. His platform looks a lot better. The more money that's traded, the more money, it shows growth in his company as well. And that's really what people are interested in. and that's what he's interested in as a business, is that growth over time. And I think if you look at his business, just, from a global perspective, this year alone, growth is something that would kind of stand out above everything else. See, somebody buy the UI and the platform. No kidding. Like every other platform that I use, it doesn't even matter how big they are, Coinbase, whatever else. It's not Voyager, and that's the one thing that I hate about it. Yes, somebody should see that value in VGX. I 100% agree. I wish somebody would buy it and use it the way that it was going to be used on the Voyager platform. Give it some utility, give it the loyalty program the way it had on Voyager. I think that would be a great thing. Yeah, he spends over 50 million every year just for advertising. That's kind of a problem. That reminds you of the startup boom, right? That bubble that burst where everybody was a startup and they were spending all this money on their marketing campaigns, when in reality the company was little more than just a giant marketing campaign. So that could be another red flag, and that might be one of those things that drives some people away once they migrate over to the platform. Sure. All right, guys, I did not think I was going to be this long-winded tonight, but I put in 21 minutes on this one and a few minutes on the other one. So I don't want to bore you to death, but the important thing is we're going to get some coin back, and we're going to get it back in more or in a higher percentage than we thought we were. Everyone's going to get the same percentage. So if you held VGX, you're not getting hosed. So this was all good news from the UCC, except, as Lucy pointed out, if the market pumps and your coin goes absolutely insane, you're sharing those profits with the entire group. But outside of that, there's not much more to say. Make sure you get in your vote by 11:28. Make sure you do it before you start cooking for Thanksgiving. That'll be the best practice. And that hearing will be on 12/8. And the next time we get together, you'll probably see AZ Crypto in the video because I'm a pretty bad host. But you guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in on a Saturday. And if you watch the Tennessee and Georgia game today, the Dogs had a big win. Go Dogs, and we'll see you later.